You attract opportunities by the way you think and speak, because every thought you carry and every word you release becomes a signal that the world responds to. When your mind is filled with doubt, hesitation, and small expectations, life shrinks to match them. But the moment you discipline your thoughts and speak with conviction, doors begin to open that were invisible before. The individual who refuses to think in limits and refuses to speak in weakness becomes a force that opportunity cannot ignore. When you speak strength, you awaken strength. When you speak purpose, you summon direction. When you speak vision, you call forth the people, resources, and circumstances aligned with that vision. Your mind is the factory of your destiny, but your words are the workers that bring it into form. So guard both with unshakable discipline. Expect more, speak more, think higher. Talk like the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. And watch how quickly life rearranges itself to meet the standard of your new mindset. Opportunities are not accidents. They are attracted to the one whose thoughts are dominant, whose words are bold, and whose faith is unwavering. Your dominating thoughts shape the opportunities that appear in your life, because the mind is the silent architect of every result you will ever produce. The moment you allow a thought to take root, it begins carving pathways, influencing decisions, altering your energy, and positioning you either closer to opportunity or deeper into limitation. People spend years searching for chances, waiting for breakthroughs, hoping for a moment that will change everything, but they overlook the truth that every breakthrough begins in the invisible world of thought before it ever shows itself in the physical world. What you constantly think about, you eventually walk toward. What you repeatedly allow to dominate your inner world becomes the magnet that pulls circumstances, people, and resources towards you. If your thoughts are shaped by doubt, you will unconsciously reject every opportunity placed in front of you. But if your mind is shaped by belief, you will recognize openings others cannot even see. The world responds not to the noise around you, but to the vibration within you. You cannot hold weak, fearful, scattered thoughts and expect powerful opportunities to arrive. Every powerful achiever first mastered the battlefield of the mind long before life rewarded them with visible success. They understood that the mind does not wait for external proof. It creates internal certainty, and that certainty becomes a beacon. Every opportunity you desire, wealth, growth, influence, meaningful connections, begins with the way you think about yourself and your possibilities. When your thoughts are dominated by clarity, purpose, and expectation, life starts aligning the moment you do. Every advancement you want already exists. Your mind must rise high enough to meet it. Your thoughts determine the language you speak, and the language you speak reveals the level of your belief. Every time you speak, you declare what you think you deserve. Words are not just sound. They are signals, commands, instructions to both your subconscious mind and the world around you. A person who speaks doubt invites doubt. A person who speaks defeat attracts defeat. But the person who speaks strength, vision, and unshakable belief calls in opportunities that match that level of confidence. Life is always listening, and your words are always broadcasting. If you talk small, you shrink your world. If you talk bold, you expand it. Every opportunity is born from the conviction behind your voice. You must discipline your inner dialogue with the same intensity as an athlete trains their body. You cannot allow fear to dominate the conversation inside your head. You cannot allow negative opinions, past failures, or current challenges to reshape your thinking. The moment you let an undisciplined thought linger, it begins eroding your confidence and weakening your magnetism. But when you take control, when you decide what thoughts are allowed to live inside your mind, you become unstoppable. You attract chances because you are mentally prepared for them. You speak with authority because your thoughts have already been trained to believe in your capability. You move with certainty because doubt no longer holds a seat in your mind. Opportunities follow clarity. When you think with purpose, your mind sharpens, your energy strengthens, and your focus intensifies. You begin to notice possibilities that were always there but invisible to an unfocused mind. You start meeting people who are aligned with your direction. You start receiving ideas that elevate you. The universe reveals doors you never knew existed simply because your thoughts rose to a higher frequency. The moment you think differently, you shift into a new level of awareness, and with that awareness comes opportunity. Your mind is constantly choosing between expansion and limitation. Every thought you allow is a vote for the life you will experience. If you allow thoughts that weaken you, life obeys. If you allow thoughts that empower you, life obeys. The mind does not care what you feed it. It will build from whatever you give it. That is why you must choose thoughts that elevate, strengthen, and align with the future you want. Think abundance and you attract abundance. Think growth and you attract growth. Think power and you attract powerful opportunities. Nothing in your life will rise higher than your mindset. The world treats you according to the level of your thinking. Speak with strength. Think with purpose. Guard your mind as if your future depends on it, because it does. The opportunities you seek are already forming, already moving toward you, already looking for a mind strong enough to receive them. And the moment your dominating thoughts shift, your entire life will shift with them. Every word you speak is a command to the universe and to your subconscious mind, and the moment you open your mouth, you set forces in motion that either build your future or silently destroy it. Words are not empty sounds. They are instructions, signals, vibrations that shape your direction and train your mind to believe in the reality you are creating. Speak long enough in weakness, and your mind will accept weakness as normal. Speak long enough in strength, and your mind will begin manufacturing the courage, clarity, and power you need to rise. The universe responds to the tone of your voice, and your subconscious responds to the conviction behind it. Every sentence you speak becomes a blueprint your mind works tirelessly to fulfill. The words you use every day mold your identity. When you say you can, you expand your capacity. When you say you can't, you reduce your potential. Your language is the echo of your beliefs, and it is impossible to speak defeat while expecting victory to follow. If you constantly declare stress, your life will mirror chaos. If you constantly declare growth, clarity, and purpose, your life will align to bring those experiences into existence. Most people sabotage themselves not through their abilities, but through their vocabulary. They speak limitation so consistently that it becomes their reality without them even realizing it. They complain and wonder why hardship multiplies. They speak small and wonder why opportunities avoid them. They underestimate the power of their own voice. Your subconscious mind does not argue, question, or analyze what you say. It accepts every word as truth and works relentlessly to bring your dominant language to life. If you repeatedly say you are tired, your mind drains your energy. If you repeatedly say you are unlucky, your mind filters opportunities out of your awareness. But if you speak possibility, your mind begins searching for evidence of that possibility. If you speak strength, your mind begins generating strength. If you speak abundance, your mind begins guiding you toward new sources of abundance. Your words shape your internal chemistry long before they shape your external reality. You must learn to speak with intention, conviction, and clarity, because careless speech is one of the fastest ways to weaken your own power. A person who casually speaks negativity has already surrendered their potential. But a person who speaks with purposeful language rooted in belief, discipline, certainty, and vision, creates an environment where opportunity cannot help but grow. When you speak powerful words, you elevate your mindset. When you speak confidently, you raise your vibration. When you speak with determination, you ignite momentum. Your voice becomes a tool for transformation. The most successful individuals are not those who wait for perfect conditions. They are those who speak their goals into existence with unwavering confidence. They understand that their words are seeds, and if planted with consistency, they will eventually bear fruit. They do not speak according to their current reality. They speak according to the reality they are building. They use language as a weapon. They use language as fuel. They use language to command their destiny. They do not wait for validation. They declare their path, and the world adjusts. Your speech shapes your emotional state. When you speak with fear, your heart tightens, and your actions reflect hesitation. When you speak with courage, your body responds with strength, and your actions reflect boldness. Words change your physiology. Words elevate or lower your frequency. Words open or close the doors of opportunity. That is why you must guard your speech with the same intensity as you guard your dreams. Never speak failure into your future. Never declare limitations into your life. Never align your voice with the version of you that you are trying to leave behind. If you want your life to change the way you speak about yourself, your goals, your challenges, and your future. Replace doubt with certainty. Replace fear with clarity. Replace negativity with discipline. Speak like the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. Command your path with authority. Speak your purpose until your subconscious believes it so deeply that your actions become unstoppable. The universe does not reward hesitation. It rewards conviction. The world does not respond to weak language. It responds to decisive language. Every word that leaves your lips is either building your future or building your excuses. You choose which one you empower. The person who masters their speech masters their destiny. The person who understands the creative power of language becomes a magnet for success because their voice aligns with their vision. Speak intentionally. Speak boldly. Speak with the understanding that every word is a command shaping the life you are stepping into. Your voice is your power. Use it to create the future you desire, not the one you fear. Every word you speak is a command to the universe and to your subconscious mind because your voice carries the authority to shape your reality long before you ever see the results in your life. Every sentence that leaves your mouth is planting seeds in the soil of your future, and those seeds eventually bloom into opportunities, challenges, or limitations depending on what you have spoken. When you say something with emotion, conviction, or repetition, your subconscious mind absorbs it as instruction, and once it accepts that instruction, it begins adjusting your beliefs, your decisions, and your behavior to match the language you use. The universe responds to the energy behind your words, and your subconscious responds to the meaning you attach to them. That is why careless speech destroys potential and disciplined speech builds power. Most people do not understand that their life is following the pattern of the words they speak daily. If you constantly say you are exhausted, your body obeys. If you constantly say you never catch a break, your mind filters opportunities out of your awareness. If you repeatedly say life is difficult, your subconscious interprets difficulty as normal and prepares you to expect more of it. People speak negatively without thinking, and then look around confused when their lives reflect the very energy they released. Your words are not just expressions, they are commands, and your mind always listens more closely than anyone else does. But the moment you shift your language, your entire direction begins to shift with it. When you start speaking from strength instead of fear, you activate a higher level of clarity and energy inside yourself. When you speak confidently about your goals, your subconscious begins aligning your habits with those goals. When you speak abundance, your actions rise to a frequency where abundant opportunities become visible. When you declare growth, your mind becomes alert to every situation that can help you evolve. Words are not passive, they are catalysts. They build your inner world and reshape your outer world. Your voice is one of your greatest tools, not because others hear it, but because you hear it. Whatever you say about yourself repeatedly becomes the foundation of your identity. Say you are disciplined often enough, and you'll begin acting like a disciplined person. Say you are focused, and your mind sharpens. Say you are capable, and confidence begins to grow inside you. The subconscious mind cannot differentiate between truth and repetition. It only responds to what you feed it. Speak weakness and it weakens you. Speak strength and it strengthens you. This is not magic. It is mindset mechanics. Your words program your belief system, and your belief system controls your destiny. When you speak with conviction, you are not just describing your life, you are directing it. Every bold declaration you make sends a signal to the universe that you are ready for the opportunities that match your courage. Every positive, disciplined affirmation you speak tells your subconscious to elevate your standards. Every powerful sentence you speak becomes a command that alters the trajectory of your future. That is why those who use their words with precision rise faster than those who speak mindlessly. They understand the creativity embedded in speech. They understand that to talk in weakness is to live in weakness, and to talk in strength is to live in strength. You must become intentional with every word you allow to pass your lips. Never claim failure over yourself, not even in a joke. Never declare limitations you do not want to experience. Never speak as if your future is controlled by your past. Speak solutions when problems appear. Speak direction when confusion tries to distract you. Speak purpose when life tests your patience. Your language must reflect the version of you that you are becoming, not the version you are trying to escape. Your voice must carry the tone of a person who expects growth, commands success, and refuses to align with anything that weakens their spirit. Speak as if the universe is listening, because it is. Speak as if your subconscious is recording every word, because it does. Speak as if your future depends on the sentences you form, because it absolutely does. If you want a stronger life, use stronger words. If you want more opportunities, speak like someone who deserves them. If you want a new chapter, stop narrating your life with the vocabulary of the old one. Your words are not just sounds in the air. They are blueprints. They are signals. They are forces shaping what happens next. Every word you speak is a command. Make sure the commands you give point toward the future you want, not the limitations you fear. Speak with intention. Speak with strength. Speak with the awareness that your voice is writing the script your life will follow. You cannot attract abundance while thinking scarcity or speaking defeat, because the mind and the mouth are the gatekeepers of your destiny, and they cannot produce a life that contradicts their dominant message. You cannot walk toward expansion with a mindset that is chained to limitation. You cannot rise with a voice that keeps declaring you are stuck. Abundance requires a mental environment where growth is expected, possibility is welcomed, and success is spoken as naturally as breathing. Scarcity, on the other hand, poisons that environment. It creates walls where doors should be. It creates fear where courage is needed. It creates hesitation in the exact moments where boldness would have opened the path. The moment you entertain scarcity thoughts, you weaken your attraction, and the moment you speak defeat, you instruct your subconscious to stop searching for solutions. A mind trapped in scarcity cannot see opportunities even when they stand directly in front of it. It notices obstacles but overlooks openings. It feels threatened by change instead of empowered by it. It magnifies problems and minimizes potential. Scarcity thinking shrinks your imagination. And once the imagination collapses, possibility becomes invisible. Abundance is a mindset that expands your awareness. Suddenly you see chances where others see dead ends. You see growth where others see risk. You see progress where others see difficulty. But that shift can only happen when you stop feeding your mind with thoughts that limit you. Speaking defeat is even more destructive because words activate emotion, and emotion activates behavior. When you say, "I can't," you kill your drive before it even starts moving. When you say, "Nothing ever works out for me," you train your subconscious to ignore progress. When you say, "I'm not built for success," you program yourself to sabotage anything that might elevate you. Defeatist language is not harmless. It is the blueprint of a life lived far beneath its potential. People speak their future into weakness and then blame the world for the results their own voice created. They expect abundance while consistently declaring limitations. Abundance requires a mental shift long before it becomes a material shift. It begins with the choice to think differently, to expect differently, to speak differently. You must learn to talk in a way that matches the future you want, not the circumstances you see. You must speak from vision, not fear. You must speak from belief, not doubt. Every time you speak strength, you strengthen your identity. Every time you speak possibility, you sharpen your awareness. Every time you speak abundance, you align with experiences that reflect abundance. Abundance is not an accident. It is a pattern of thinking combined with a pattern of speaking that consistently directs your life toward expansion. Scarcity thinking comes from a place of fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of loss, fear of not being enough. But fear cannot produce growth. Fear cannot create breakthroughs. Fear cannot build opportunities. You must replace fear with conviction, with clarity, with expectation. When you choose to think abundantly, you are declaring that there is more ahead of you than behind you, more potential than limitation, more opportunity than risk. You begin to understand that abundance is not about having everything. It's about believing everything is possible. And once the mind believes, the path begins to unfold. Your voice must reflect this belief. Speak life into your goals. Speak progress into your journey. Speak confidence into your identity. Speak courage into your challenges. Speak like someone who refuses to let fear write their narrative. Speak like someone who understands the power of their voice. The universe responds to those who speak with authority. The subconscious responds to those who speak with conviction. The world bends for those who refuse to speak in weakness. You cannot attract abundance with a vocabulary soaked in defeat. The words you speak must lift you, not limit you. They must build you, not break you. They must energize your vision, not drain it. When you stop speaking defeat, your mind becomes quieter. When you stop speaking fear, your confidence grows. When you stop speaking limitation, your imagination expands. And from that expansion, abundance begins to rise. Transform your language, and your life will follow. Think in possibility. Speak in strength. Expect in abundance. The life you desire is waiting for the version of you who refuses to think small and refuses to speak weakness. Replace every scarcity thought with a thought of growth. Replace every defeatist sentence with a declaration of power. Reject any inner dialogue that contradicts the life you are building. The moment you commit to this, abundance starts moving toward you. Your thoughts open the door, and your words invite abundance in. Stop sending mixed signals. Stop thinking scarcity and speaking defeat while expecting greatness. Align your mind, align your voice, and abundance will have no choice but to align with you. Controlled, disciplined, purpose-driven thinking becomes a magnet for success because the mind that refuses to wander, refuses to weaken, and refuses to drift becomes a force that nothing can distract or derail. Most people live in a mental fog, reacting instead of directing, hoping instead of deciding, wishing instead of planning. But the person who disciplines their thoughts sharpens their entire existence. They stop wasting mental energy on fears, regrets, excuses, and noise. They use their mind with intention. They think with clarity. They operate with purpose. And the world responds to individuals whose minds operate with this level of precision and determination. Success is not drawn to scattered thinking. It is drawn to focused thinking. It gravitates toward those who have trained their mind to stay aligned with their mission despite pressure, distraction, or difficulty. Controlled thinking means you decide what you think, not your environment, not your emotions, and not your past. You choose your dominant thoughts instead of letting random thoughts choose you. A controlled mind knows how to silence doubt. It knows how to quiet fear. It knows how to shut down the mental noise that weakens confidence. When your thinking is controlled, you do not waste energy overanalyzing what could go wrong. You direct your focus toward what must be done. You stop entertaining thoughts that drain your momentum, and you start reinforcing thoughts that fuel it. A controlled mind is not perfect. It is prepared. It is trained. It is stable. And stability attracts success because success is built on consistency, not chaos. Disciplined thinking is the next level. This is where mental strength is forged. Discipline means you think deliberately even when life feels heavy, even when the path feels unclear, even when discouragement tries to creep in. You don't allow your mind to wander into negativity. You don't give permission to thoughts that sabotage your progress. You don't indulge worry, fear, or mental weakness. You stay aligned with your purpose, and you protect your mental space with intensity. Discipline gives your mind direction. It makes you sharp. It builds resilience. It trains you to stay locked on your vision even when circumstances tempt you to give up. A disciplined thinker does not collapse under pressure. They rise through it because their mind is trained to support them, not defeat them. Purpose-driven thinking creates power because it transforms your mind into a compass. Everything you think aligns with where you are going. Every idea, every plan, every belief you entertain pushes you closer to your mission. Purpose-driven thinking eliminates confusion. It eliminates wasted effort. It eliminates the emotional chaos that comes from living without direction. When your thinking is driven by purpose, you know why you must keep going. You know what you are building. You know what you expect from yourself. You know the future you are shaping. And because your thoughts are attached to meaning, you think with intensity. You think with hunger. You think with drive. This energy becomes magnetic. When your mind operates with control, discipline, and purpose, success begins to pull toward you. You start attracting people who match your focus. You start recognizing opportunities that match your mission. You start developing ideas that elevate you. Your entire life begins to reorganize itself around the strength of your thinking. You make better decisions because your thoughts are clear. You stay consistent because your thoughts are disciplined. You stay motivated because your thoughts are purposeful. You move with certainty because your mind is aligned with your vision. This level of thinking transforms you from passive to powerful. It separates you from the average thinker who is constantly distracted, constantly overwhelmed, constantly confused. Controlled, disciplined, purpose-driven thinking gives you an edge because it creates mental momentum that is impossible to fake. People feel your focus. Opportunities respond to your energy. Life becomes sharper, faster, clearer. You become the kind of person who doesn't chase success. Success begins to gravitate toward you because you carry the mindset of someone who can sustain it. You must protect this mental state. It does not happen accidentally. It happens through repetition, through awareness, through intentional practice. You choose discipline when your mind tries to drift. You choose purpose when your emotions try to weaken you. You choose control when distractions try to pull you off your path. Take ownership of your thoughts. Train them, direct them, shape them. The stronger your thinking becomes, the stronger your life becomes. Success is not attracted to talent alone. It is not attracted to luck alone. It is attracted to people who think with direction, with focus, with conviction. When your thoughts move with precision, your actions follow with power. When your mind is locked on your mission, your results begin to multiply. Everything starts in the mind, and when your mind becomes disciplined, controlled, and driven by purpose, you become unstoppable. You become magnetic. You become the kind of person success cannot ignore. The strongest opportunities arrive when your words and thoughts align with your purpose, because the moment your inner world moves in one unified direction, you become a force that life cannot overlook. When your purpose becomes the foundation of your thinking and the language you speak reflects that purpose, you activate a power within yourself that begins shaping your path with precision. Most people scatter their energy because their thoughts pull one way, their words pull another, and their purpose is left unused in the background. This creates confusion, inconsistency, and missed opportunities. But when everything inside you aligns, your beliefs, your speech, your vision, you unlock a level of clarity that turns ordinary moments into uncommon possibilities. Alignment creates momentum. Alignment creates magnetism. Alignment creates opportunity. Your purpose is not just an idea, it is a direction. It is the internal compass that knows exactly where you are supposed to go. When your thoughts support that direction, you begin to think in terms of growth, solutions, and elevation instead of fear, doubt, and hesitation. Your thinking becomes sharper because it has a destination. You stop entertaining mental detours. You stop feeding doubt with your imagination. You stop wasting energy on paths that don't belong to you. A purpose-driven mind moves differently. It becomes focused, resilient, and strategic. And when your thoughts consistently point toward your purpose, opportunities that match that purpose start becoming visible. Your awareness expands. Your intuition strengthens. Your decision-making becomes wiser. You begin seeing openings that you once walked past blindly. Then your words begin to shape reality. When what you speak matches what you think, you send out a signal of certainty and strength. You speak in a manner that reflects belief, direction, and conviction. You stop speaking like someone who is guessing. You stop speaking like someone who is confused. You speak like someone who knows where they are headed and refuses to be pulled away from that path. Your voice carries authority because your words are supported by aligned thoughts and a rooted purpose. And the world responds differently to a voice that carries conviction. People trust it. Opportunities gravitate toward it. Circumstances shift around it. The reason aligned words and thoughts attract powerful opportunities is because they create consistency. When you think one thing but say another, you create internal conflict. That conflict weakens your energy, confuses your subconscious, and destroys your momentum. But when your thoughts and your words support the same mission, your subconscious begins working relentlessly to help you achieve it. You begin noticing patterns. You begin connecting dots. You begin moving with a sense of destiny instead of uncertainty. The universe responds by opening doors that require this level of inner clarity. Alignment signals readiness. And once you are mentally and verbally aligned with your purpose, opportunities that match your direction arrive with force. Purpose-aligned thinking also builds confidence. When you think on purpose, you stop doubting your worth. You stop questioning your path. You stop negotiating with your potential. Confidence grows because you are living from inner truth rather than outer pressure. That confidence influences the words you speak. Your language becomes direct, bold, grounded, and powerful. You speak from certainty, and certainty is magnetic. People listen when you speak. Circumstances shift when you speak. You begin attracting the relationships, resources, and situations that require the strongest version of you. Purpose-aligned words carry power because they reinforce your identity. Every time you speak something aligned with your mission, you solidify who you are becoming. Your words become declarations. They become commitments. They become commands that tell your subconscious exactly what to execute. When your words consistently reflect your purpose, your inner world stops resisting and begins cooperating. That internal cooperation speeds up success. It removes doubt. It removes hesitation. It removes the fear-based thinking that slows most people down. A person whose words and thoughts match their purpose is not held back by internal conflict. They move straight toward their goals with intensity. Aligned thinking and speaking also increase your ability to make decisions. Without alignment, confusion takes over. But when your purpose shapes your mental and verbal patterns, every decision becomes clearer. You instinctively know what is right for you and what is not. You know when to say yes. You know when to walk away. You know where to invest your energy. You know which opportunities are aligned and which are distractions. This clarity creates speed, and speed in the right direction leads to powerful results. The strongest opportunities do not come to the loudest people. They come to the aligned people. They come to the individuals who have unified their mind, their voice, and their mission. When your thinking supports your purpose and your words reinforce your thinking, you create a powerful internal focus that becomes impossible to ignore. Life begins presenting you with opportunities that match your potential, not your fears. You attract people who match your ambition, not your past. You draw in circumstances that elevate you, not drain you. A scattered mind attracts chaos. A conflicted voice attracts confusion. But a person whose thoughts and words are aligned with their purpose becomes a magnet for everything they are destined to achieve. The moment you commit to this alignment, life starts bringing you the strongest, clearest, most meaningful opportunities you have ever encountered. Self-belief must be spoken boldly and repeatedly until it becomes reality, because no dream, no opportunity, no transformation can survive in a mind that whispers doubt more loudly than it declares strength. You cannot rise while questioning your own ability. You cannot build while contradicting yourself with hesitation. You cannot step into greatness while speaking like someone who expects to lose. Self-belief is not something you wait to feel. It is something you train, something you declare, something you reinforce every single day until your words shape your identity and your identity shapes your destiny. The person who becomes unstoppable is not the one with the greatest talent, but the one who speaks their strength with such consistency that their subconscious has no choice but to believe them. Most people sabotage themselves long before the world ever has the chance to test them. They speak doubt into their dreams. They speak weakness into their potential. They speak fear into their future. And because the subconscious mind accepts repetition as truth, Their internal narrative becomes a prison. You cannot expect confidence while feeding your mind language that destroys it. You cannot expect power while repeating thoughts that weaken you. But the moment you begin speaking belief with conviction, loudly, clearly, fearlessly, you begin rewriting the script that has been holding you back. Self-belief is born through repetition. The same way negative language can poison your mind, powerful language can heal it, strengthen it, and rebuild it. When you declare, "I am capable," your subconscious begins searching for proof. When you declare, "I can rise," your mind begins opening pathways. When you declare, "I will succeed," your energy shifts, your decisions improve, and your actions begin aligning with success. Repetition turns belief into certainty. Certainty turns action into momentum. Momentum turns opportunity into achievement. Every major success story begins with a voice that refused to speak anything weaker than the future it wanted. You must speak self-belief boldly, without hesitation, without apology, without watering down your greatness to make others comfortable. Your voice must carry conviction. Your words must be sharp. Your affirmations must feel like commands, not suggestions. The world does not respond to timid declarations. It responds to the individual who speaks with unwavering certainty. A bold voice cuts through fear. A bold voice overrides doubt. A bold voice strengthens the inner identity that predicts how far you will go. Speak as if you already are the person you are becoming, and your mind will begin aligning your behavior with that identity. Self-belief must also be spoken repeatedly because belief is not a one-time decision. It is a habit. Every day you face new obstacles, new pressures, new doubts trying to invade your mind. If you do not fight back with repeated, intentional, powerful self-belief, your old patterns will take control again. Confidence must be maintained. Strength must be reinforced. Identity must be built layer by layer through consistent declaration. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity becomes truth. The more you speak your strength, the more your mind accepts it as reality. And once it becomes reality internally, success begins forming externally. Your voice is the first tool you have in shaping who you become. Before the world believes in you, before opportunities arrive, before others see your value, you must speak that value into existence through your own words. You must become the architect of your self-image. You must speak your greatness before there is evidence of it. You must speak your victory before the path appears. This is how champions are built, internally, through the discipline of spoken belief. The world only recognizes you after you have recognized yourself. There will be moments when your circumstances contradict your declarations. Speak belief anyway. There will be moments when fear tries to silence your voice. Speak belief anyway. There will be moments when your progress feels slow, when your results do not match your effort, when doubt whispers that your vision is too big. Speak belief anyway. The voice you use in your weakest moments defines the strength you develop in your future moments. Consistent self-belief does not just push you forward. It transforms you into someone who refuses to fold, refuses to break, refuses to surrender. When your spoken belief becomes a daily practice, something powerful begins to shift. Your energy changes, your posture changes, your decisions change, your courage increases. You begin taking actions that align with a stronger version of yourself. You begin recognizing opportunities that were invisible before. You begin attracting people and situations that match your elevated identity. Life begins responding to the new frequency you have built through repetition. Speak your self-belief boldly. Speak it clearly. Speak it with the intensity of someone who knows their future depends on their voice. Repeat it until your mind accepts it. Repeat it until your actions reflect it. Repeat it until your results prove it. Every great life begins with a person who decided to speak belief into themselves long before the world ever agreed. Your voice is your weapon. Use it until your belief becomes unshakable, until your confidence becomes undeniable, until your reality rises to match the greatness you have been declaring all along. Your mind creates the conditions, but your speech activates them, because nothing in your life moves until your words give it direction, momentum, and permission to unfold. Your thoughts build the blueprint, but your speech is the command that brings that blueprint into motion. You can think strength, but if you speak weakness, You cancel the very conditions your mind is trying to create. You can think growth, but if you speak limitation, you shut down the doors meant to open for you. Speech is not noise. Speech is power. Speech is influence. Speech is energy that shapes behavior, decisions, and the opportunities that approach you. When you speak with belief, you activate courage. When you speak with purpose, you activate clarity. When you speak with confidence, you activate the internal machinery that propels you toward action. And action is what opportunity responds to. Nothing great ever started with silence. Everything great began with a declaration, a commitment spoken out loud, a refusal to let fear dictate the conversation of your life. Your mind can create 1,000,000 possible paths, but it is your speech that decides which one you walk. That is why disciplined people speak carefully, intentionally, and strategically. They understand that words are tools that can either build their future or destroy it. If you speak in defeat, you prepare your mind for failure. If you speak in strength, you prepare your mind for battle. If you speak in vision, you prepare your mind for greatness. And once your mind is prepared, the world begins arranging itself to match that preparation. Doors open, people appear, ideas emerge, opportunities surface not because you wished for them, but because your words activated the mindset needed to seize them. Your speech is not separate from your results. Your speech is part of the cause that generates your results. Every time you declare "I can," a new possibility becomes reachable. Every time you say "I will," your subconscious mind starts forming the pathways to fulfill that command. Every time you refuse to speak fear, you weaken fear's influence over your decisions. And every time you speak courage, you strengthen the psychological armor that allows you to move forward when others hesitate. Your words are not just sounds, they are instructions to your nervous system, signals to your environment, and invitations to opportunity. If you say nothing, nothing changes. If you speak in uncertainty, your actions become hesitant. But if you speak in absolute determination, your actions gain power, direction, and consistency. The world does not reward the quiet mind trapped in self-doubt. It rewards the bold thinker who dares to speak his future into existence. When your speech and your thoughts move in the same direction, you become unstoppable because there is no internal conflict slowing you down. Your mind builds the vision, and your words ignite the fire that pushes you toward it. This is why people who speak with clarity and conviction rise faster. They know that speech is not merely an expression of what they believe. It is the reinforcement of what they are becoming. Every strong word you speak programs your subconscious to operate at a higher frequency. It fuels your confidence, sharpens your decisions, strengthens your persistence, and aligns your behavior with your goals. And once your behavior aligns, success has no choice but to respond. Your speech becomes your standard, and your life grows to meet that standard. Be careful with casual negativity because the universe is always listening. Be intentional with powerful declarations because your subconscious is always adjusting. Speak only the words that support the life you want, not the life you fear. Speak vision, not doubt. Speak strength, not hesitation. Speak progress, not problems. Your mind can shape the conditions, but only your speech can activate them and bring them into reality. Your future is waiting for your command. Give it one that matches your greatness. Change your inner dialogue, and you change the level of opportunities you attract, because the conversation you have with yourself shapes the boundaries of your life more than anything the outside world could ever impose. Your inner dialogue is the silent architect of your destiny, the unseen voice that decides whether you rise or whether you shrink, whether you push forward or whether you retreat, whether you believe in your potential or surrender to doubt. Every breakthrough begins inside the mind long before it becomes visible in your reality. And every limitation grows from the words you whisper to yourself when no one is listening. When your inner dialogue is filled with hesitation, excuses, fear, and self-sabotage, the world mirrors that frequency back to you. You attract small opportunities because you think in small ways. You attract delayed progress because you talk yourself out of urgency. You attract resistance because you convince yourself that you're not ready. But the moment you rewrite that internal script, the moment you start speaking to yourself as the person you are becoming instead of the person you used to be, Everything around you shifts in response. You cannot expect life to hand you greatness while you speak to yourself like you are unworthy of it. You cannot expect opportunity to approach when your inner voice constantly repeats failure, doubt, and fear. The internal world sets the standard the external world must follow. When you change that internal conversation to one of strength, vision, discipline, and confidence, you elevate the level of energy you operate from. An opportunity is drawn to elevated energy. When your inner dialogue says, "I am capable," your mind seeks solutions. When it says, "I deserve better," your decisions rise. When it says, "I will win," your actions begin aligning with a higher level of purpose. Your inner dialogue is the fuel, the power source, the core of every achievement you will ever experience. Most people don't lack ability, they lack a supportive inner voice. They talk themselves out of progress before they even take the first step. They convince themselves that success belongs to others, that greatness is for someone else, that they are somehow less worthy, less prepared, less capable. But all of that is nothing more than an internal script they've allowed to run unchecked for years. The moment you interrupt that script, challenge it and replace it with a stronger one, you unlock a version of yourself that has been waiting behind the noise of your self-doubt. You cannot rise with a voice inside you pulling you down. Change the voice, and the rise becomes automatic. Your inner dialogue is a powerful form of self-programming. Every phrase you repeat becomes a belief. Every belief becomes a decision. Every decision becomes a habit. And every habit creates your results. If your inner dialogue is filled with disempowering language, your results will always reflect struggle. But when your inner dialogue becomes intentional, when you consciously choose words of power, clarity, and purpose, you begin installing a new identity within yourself, and opportunities always match identity. Speak internally like someone who leads. Think like someone who achieves. Encourage yourself like someone who wins. When your inner voice becomes your ally instead of your enemy, you attract possibilities you once believed were impossible. This is why the greatest breakthroughs often happen quietly. They happen in the mind before the world sees the results. They happen when you stop telling yourself stories of limitation. They happen when you stop repeating the doubts others planted in you. They happen when you replace inner criticism with inner commitment. You cannot attract high-level opportunities while running on low-level self-talk. The quality of your inner dialogue determines the quality of your future. Upgrade the voice, and you upgrade the path. Tell yourself you are capable. Tell yourself you are deserving. Tell yourself you can build, replace, grow, rebuild, and rise again. Speak encouragement into your own spirit until it becomes the natural language of your mind. At that point, opportunity begins to seek you out because your internal frequency matches the level of success you desire. The world bends to the identity you reinforce daily. Your inner dialogue is the gateway to your next level. Change it, strengthen it, elevate it, and watch how the opportunities in your life rise to meet the new standard of the voice inside you.